questions from our nonprofit friends. They have been asking all kinds of questions about how to continue to market their nonprofits, to run their fundraisers, and to ask for help during a time when literally like every charitable organization in the world needs more help than ever before right now. So we wanted to put together some ideas and a little bit of advice for the stuff that we can handle, right? So we can't make the decisions for you on whether or not you choose to have your fundraisers, whether or not you have to shut down and do whatever you want to do. But what we can help with is your marketing, your messaging, and helping you get the resources and tools that you need in order to pivot a little bit and do what you can with what you've got.
Yeah, and you know, nonprofits rely so much on face-to-face communication and how they handle their business. And so we came up with a few ideas of hopefully how to help you out through this time.
So let's start with messaging. You know, messaging, we want to know how you're communicating, consider how you're communicating with your donors, your event sponsors, your volunteers, your employees, your audience as a whole. We want to consider really that in this time or in any kind of economic downturn, your tone with that audience is more important than ever. We preach tone a lot, just in general, it's important, but now it's more important than ever to be really sensitive to the different experiences that people are having and try and be cognizant of your approach around all of that. You know, no matter whether you're communicating through your social media or your blogs or your email web copy or your website copy or whatever, if it's via text or over the phone, whatever it might be. We just have a few tips on how to communicate in a way that will continue to foster that strong relationship with your audience. So tip number one is that transparency is key. You know, a lot of our nonprofit friends have asked us, well, like, I want to share and be open, but how much is too much? Like, where do I draw the line of, you know, especially as nonprofit funders, I feel like our nonprofit funders are very empathetic humans in general anyway. And so they don't want to unload on people in a time that's really heavy anyway. So my tip for this, sorry, you can see my cat tail right now. My tip for this is that, you know, it's no secret, first of all, that nonprofits rely on donors and sponsors and volunteers to survive normally. So our advice is just to be honest and direct. Share how the economics issues are affecting your organization. If you have to cancel, for example, if you have to cancel your biggest fundraiser of the whole year, which we've heard a lot of people are doing, a lot of them have those big spring fundraisers that really help them build up the budget for the remainder of the year. Like, talk to people and put it out in your messaging, especially to your donors and sponsors, of how much of your budget usually is raised in that one event. If you're going to ask people to continue to give, you need to be able to explain to them like what exactly happens with that money.
Right, give some kind of percentage. You know, what kind of percentage does it bring in each year? Is it 30%? Is it 60%?
Also share other bits of information, like transparently about, you know, how has this affected your team? Have you had to furlough your employees, unfortunately? You know, what are your emotions surrounding all of this? Are you feeling really sad and disappointed that you're not able to bring the community together at these events that you normally would be hosting, and making memories with your supporters and supporting those in the community who need it more than ever? You know, our advice with this is just express yourself openly, but gently. So On to tip number 2 for communication is to be giving. You can still ask for help while giving help. Continue to foster. So offer support in any way that you're able. If you can try and be like equivalent about how much you're asking for with how much you're giving, your audience will feel really good about however they can give if they're able to your organization. So share information about how you're taking care of, maybe you have furloughed employees, but you have made a commitment to keep continuing to pay for their healthcare costs over the next couple of months, or whatever it might be. Share that. Sorry, you can hear my cat's toy now. It's a chirpy bird toy. But share that openly and honestly. And if you're a membership organization of any kind, you know, what can you do to relieve some of the financial pressure from your members or for your members? What
can you make up for the lack of in-person meetings?
Yeah, so tip number 3 is to focus on the benefits of your organization. So if people are going to still give, where is that money going to go? Who is it going to help? How far will it go? And even if it's not money, if it's giving a gift basket for you to raffle off, or it's volunteering to if a tech company volunteers to set up Zoom or whatever platform for you so that you can carry your events online. Whatever it might be, let them know the impact of that and the benefit to the community and to those who you serve. Number 4 is to be sure to recognize the uncertainty when you're asking. So when you ask for support, no matter what kind of ask you're making, you need to acknowledge that there is financial uncertainty and that not everyone is in a place to give right now. So be mindful of your tone, be sensitive to the experiences that others might be undergoing. An example might be, if you're able to give, your continued support of XYZ organization would mean 1, 2, 3 to us, you know, and kind of just spell it all out.
And make sure each person that donates, even if they donate, you know, something that's only $5, make sure to make that person feel just as much of how you would make someone who donated $2,000, because they're giving something, and during this time, that might be as much as they possibly could.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a great time to do all kinds of shout outs. We've seen a great example with Smile. Samantha makes it a little easier. I know Kristen and her team, they are doing shout outs. So normally they have this big fundraiser in the spring, and you know, there would be, for their sponsors, depending on their commitment level, there would be different kind of perks that they would get out of that. Well, right now their sponsors are getting shout outs and tags on their social media profiles. And that's a great way to do it. Handwritten thank you notes are also a great opportunity. Any way that you can make people feel appreciated for what they are doing. And number 5, this is our last tip for communication. If it's appropriate, if you can find a way for it to be appropriate, use a little bit of humor. We all need some extra laughs in our lives these days, I feel like.
We do.
For example, if you have to cancel that giant gala or fundraiser, maybe you can use humor to bring some light to the situation of, well, sorry to announce our gala is canceled, but good news, you don't need to buy a fancy outfit. You can rock what we call the Zoom mullet with the business up top. If it's going to go online, the business up top, and then the sweatpants on bottom.
On the bottom.
Yeah, house shoes. So you can kind of bring some light to that situation, or even
if you won't hurt, you can wear house shoes.
Yeah. So if you focus on the lightheartedness, that's okay. Just make sure that it's in an appropriate manner. I think we can all laugh about our experiences lately of being on video chats 24/7. Oh my gosh.
Like the bird toy?
They're going crazy right now. I should have put this in another room. Um, so speaking of events, I want to talk about some different ideas of how our nonprofit friends can make those events go online, because the show has to go on, right? Just because there's an economic downturn doesn't mean, or that we can't go out and do these events in person, doesn't mean that there's not a need for your organization and what it provides to the community. So if you can take it online into the digital world, there are a load of tools and resources that are at your fingertips that might be able to help you move forward. So we were brainstorming some different ideas, and one idea we had was, if you normally have like some big fancy dinner gala, you can still do that in a virtual way. You could, for that ticket price that person is paid, or that table price, you could probably work with a local restaurant or a caterer to arrange for delivery or curbside pickup of their meal, and then make some kind of video presentation ahead of time, or even set up something that you live stream in a Facebook group for them to watch while they're eating dinner, just like they would watch a presentation that you give in person. And then you could even spice it up a little bit more with decorations or themes. So if your event was a luau theme or a casino night, think about putting together little packs of like decor and dropping it off on their doorstep so they can decorate their space while they're sitting there enjoying their meal and watching your video.
Yeah, or if you had, like I know a lot of people had fundraisers coming up for like Mother's Day brunch, and they had Easter. You could do a little kit of either, you know, like a make your own brunch, or you could do like a baked good. You could do like a cupcake. You can put all the ingredients in a bag. If you do a luau, like Casey said, you can even do like little umbrellas for little drinks. For even kids, they can do it too, because you can just make lemonade and put the little umbrella on top.
Yeah, or even team up with some local restaurants that are struggling right now to make that happen. So I know a lot of like local bakeries that are doing those like take-home kits that you can decorate the cupcakes and do all of that yourself. So there are all kinds of fun ways that you can kind of take this into their own homes and still provide that opportunity to be a part of your organization and that experience. And beforehand, you just want to make sure that you have a donation page and a URL that you can pass out to them as well, so that they can make a pledge or donation if they're able, while all of this like at-home dinner gala is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then have a thank you event when all of this is over.
Yes.
Just a casual reception just to say thank you, where you bring everyone together in person. And then they all get to talk about and reminisce about their experiences of doing that in their homes, and it just further builds community and brings people together even more. So what other events, Kara? What do you have?
Well, you can do an online silent auction. I know these are actually pretty common, especially Casey, I know through the military community.
Yeah.
You can use tools like Bidding Owl to take silent auctions online. You do have to give 30 days for your auction to run, so there's plenty of time to promote, as well as make sure all the items are selected. And if you have auctioneer skills, considering auctioning off of Zoom or Facebook, if you have that really cool auction voice, we can talk really, really fast and actually think about what you're saying. I can talk really fast, but probably not like that.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset if you tried and we got to hear it.
Not today. Maybe I'll practice some and we'll come back to that at a different time.
Maybe we'll come back and do that next week.
I already did my train horn for you earlier today.
You did.
Yes, my little overalls. Another one is a virtual walk or run. You can set up an online walk or run, ask runners or walkers to raise funds by collecting pledges or donations. using the honor system, or you can set up payment gateway through a website, or I know that there's a couple other donation type websites that you can also do. For those who meet the fundraising goal and finish the miles, you can send them a t-shirt or some kind of swag. I know a big thing for running is those stickers you can put on the back of your car. Stickers are really reasonable to make. Another one would be hats or water bottles. Encourage non-runners to participate, especially during this time. Being active while being stuck at home, you're not getting, most people wouldn't even realize how much exercise you do in a day, just getting up, getting ready, getting to the car, getting to the office, getting up around the office to get lunch, and et cetera, et cetera. So we're even reducing the amount of exercise now. So I think that's a really great way to get people involved, to get kids involved.
And those of us who are not runners, you could probably entice us by having a non-run. So
I'm a walker. I'm not a runner.
I would just give, and then if you want me to take a selfie of me like lounging on the sofa, then that's my non-run. You know, so there are all kinds of ways that you can do this. And I've seen a great example is Habesha Mama, the nonprofit. They do a virtual run in May of every year, and they have a bunch of stuff on their social media profiles and their website about it right now. They do a great job. I've participated in it before, and it's really fun. So their virtual marathon they used to do, it would span over a whole month. So they do a marathon, but you were in charge of tracking your own miles. And then at the end, they'd have everyone to come together to do that last mile in person together. But even if there's just a day when you can say, you know, this Saturday at the end of the month, everyone's going to go do their last mile and share all over social media about it.
That'd be really cool. There's so many other things you can do. There's contests, like you can do dance-offs, talent contest, create really funny photos. I saw one that was started by a mom. It's not even for anything, but it's like, you know, fun activities for kids. There was another one that was like a fort building contest, you know, different things in the backyard. There's a lot of really fun things you can do.
And with contests, you just want to make sure and consider a couple of things. You could definitely do an entry fee for every entry, a nominal fee. Those build up quickly, right? And then even if you want to have the public vote, there are different platforms you can use to have people be able to pay to vote. So you collect $1 with every vote or something, or $3 with every vote.
Yeah, and there's some that allow you to vote and offer you to do a donation if you wish, which I know a lot of my friends do, especially for ones that are like dogs and babies. So
right. And then just award some prizes for the people who participate, right? For the top 3 winners, maybe something small and inexpensive, like
it doesn't have to be
or a sticker, or
right. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. I always think about, because it's such a good reference, in Parks and Rec, when they offer up a contest of a plain blue t-shirt and everyone goes wild. It's true. People love free things and they love to win them. So don't go thinking you have to give a car. A sticker, right. A t-shirt, a hat, a water bottle, a cup. Very simple things that people will love.
Yeah. And then go old school. Here's our last idea for an event, online event. Go old school. Like, I think of like the telethons that like the Muscular Dystrophy Association, MDA, has done forever. Like live stream those onto social media. So use Zoom or Be Live or Ecamm or whatever platform works for you. And you can still schedule performers through those. So you can add other people into it. And you can arrange with local musicians or entertainers of some kind and have them perform. Allow them to promote themselves, because they're all really hurting right now too. And you know, their gigs are all canceled. So allow them to promote themselves. Maybe they have some kind of tipping service or some like weekend concert where people can Venmo them tips or whatever. But yeah, take cues from those old school telethons and find creative ways to make that happen digitally too. And you could just live stream. You can live stream for like 8 hours straight or something. I mean, you can go for a long time. So. And then, all right, so with all of this, there's just a few reminders that we want to review with you of like some do's and don'ts, whether it's communication or events or whatever it might be through your digital platforms or in person. If you're going to ask and continue to ask people to give to your organization in your messaging, just never lead with the ask. Make sure that you acknowledge people's needs and their experiences, and then say if you are able, or should you be able to give right now, this is what you can do.
Should you be interested?
Right. Also, just make sure that your copy isn't full of peer pressure or anything fearful. We want you to be honest and direct. But also gentle and sensitive too. So,
right. Remind people that nonprofits are still here even during this situation, and they still need everyone's support, but do it in a loving and genuine way. And that will go so far. And I know some people still really have their hearts open. I mean, I know someone who barely had $100 left and they gave 50 of it to our church. So people are still really giving at this time.
They are. I've been amazed by that. We were actually talking about that on the BizConnect member Zoom this morning. Laura was talking about how generous and kind and helpful people have been with each other during this time, and how inspiring that's been to see people really come together and help each other out. So we love seeing that too. The last don't is, don't, just because the world is shut down physically doesn't mean that you can't take those events and fundraisers online. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if you need help kind of coming up with some tools or resources, we're happy to jump in and give you some free advice about what different tools and resources are available to you. And then for dues, at the end of the day, it's all about relationships and the commitments that you make. So focus on that. Doing so will continue to build the trust and loyalty with your audience. And once again, while we want you to be direct and open about the negative effects that the economic downturn is having on your organization, just make sure that your copy and everything you're putting out into the world is very sensitive and compassionate to what your audience is experiencing. So those are our tips for nonprofits. And if you have more questions or more challenges for us, bring them. We're ready and able to answer. So if we don't know the answers, we'll dig around and we'll do our best to figure it out for you. But we're always happy to help. And we know our nonprofit friends are really struggling right now. So our hearts are with you guys. And if there's anything we can do to get you what you need, don't hesitate to reach out, because we're here for you. Kara's nodding in solidarity. Yeah. So that's it for this week's episode. Please join us next week. Don't know what the topic's going to be quite yet, but we'll come up with something relevant and interesting, hopefully. And I hope to see you all there.
Yeah. If you have any ideas for topics that you think we should cover, please let us know, and happy Friday.
You're welcome, Jen. Jen K said thank you. Have a great weekend, guys.